What's up, everybody? My name's Abner Johnson. I'm one of the co-founders of Pure Shenandoah. We're a health and wellness company that specializes in the cannabinoid industry. Starting out as a hemp and CBD company, we get a ton of questions. One of the biggest ones is, how are hemp and marijuana different than each other? Is hemp legal? And what is CBD and how is it different than THC? Today, I'm gonna be diving into some of these things with you guys to shed some light on this stuff. Let's talk about marijuana first. Marijuana comes from the cannabis plant and it contains high amounts of THC. THC is the compound that's responsible for giving people that euphoric feeling, or better known as being high. Currently, THC is federally illegal. It's a Schedule I drug, and it's up to each state whether they have a recreational program or a medical program. Hemp, on the other hand, is the cannabis plant that contains less than 0.3% THC, meaning anytime it goes over that threshold, it is now a controlled substance again. So that's why it gets very confusing between these two things. Hemp can be grown for CBD, as well as these other things we'll get into, industrial hemp fiber and hurd. The quick difference is marijuana has THC, hemp has no THC. You probably heard me say that both of them come from the cannabis plant, and that's because both marijuana and hemp are cannabis. They're just different varieties of cannabis. One way that we like to compare the difference of hemp and marijuana and how they're both cannabis is the same way there's different dogs out there. You have Chihuahuas, you have Golden Retrievers. They're both dogs, they're just different sizes, bred differently, very similar to the cannabis plant. So let's hop back in time just a little bit, because you guys have seen CBD everywhere. Where was it? Cannabis has been used forever. The records show it dating back thousands of years. The main purpose of it was to be used for its the fiber of the plant as a textile. So clothing, paper, rope, especially rope on boats because of how saltwater resistant it was. So now fast forward a little bit more, people were able to breed these things and keep working with them to the point where THC was a byproduct, and they're able to kind of modify and genetically breed to make more potent THC. But as time went, we got closer to around the 1930s, this hemp that was being used for industrial uses and what was used for medicine, it was hard to decipher these things. So everything got lumped together around that time, and it was prohibited for almost 100 years. Now fast forward to the past 30 years, research is being conducted in Israel to extract THC and start preclinical trials. And since then, it's just been a huge wave. Now universities are conducting clinical trials on CBD and THC to really prove what its uses are. Some of the uses so far that they've been able to find is it helps with epilepsy, and it helps prevent and fight cancers, and tons of people use it for the anti-inflammatory properties as well. Let's dive into the different reasons between growing conditions, the regulatory system, as well as the benefits and uses. When you grow for marijuana or THC, it's a state-regulated program that's either for medical or recreational use. And when you grow for it, you have to submit licensing. When you're growing it medically, you're talking about a state-of-the-art facility. Behind the regulatory system, there's licenses that cost thousands of dollars. You gotta get inspections, and you're held to a very, very high standard, especially with the testing requirements. So some of the uses of THC medically are the epilepsy side, help fighting cancers, and some retired vets are using it for PTSD. And now when we talk about recreational THC, in certain dosages, you get the euphoric effect. You get the high feeling, and it can de-stress. For a lot of people, it's not different than just grabbing a beer at the end of the day. So the difference in growing hemp from marijuana can actually be pretty similar in some regards. When you're growing hemp for CBD, it's very similar to how you grow it for THC. And that's because both are grown for the flower where the cannabinoids are produced. Then that means your facility needs to be state-of-the-art. This is a medicine that people are using. So you have to have operating procedures in place. You have to have the testing, pretty similar to the THC. When you're growing for the industrial hemp textile side of things, it's a little bit easier. Your THC and CBD levels are non-detectable. Everything's much lower. When you grow it for fiber, you grow these stalks and you grow it in outdoors. Then it's very similar to corn in ways that there's tons of seed per acre, millions of seeds per acre. It's all tightly packed so that it all competes and grows very tall. We're growing it for the stalk of the plant, where the fiber and the hurd is. And then the inside can be harvested as well for things like animal bedding and the fiber used for the textile part. Rope, paper, things I talked about earlier. You can also grow hemp for seed, and the seed could be a replacement for a high source of protein, as well as omega and fatty acids. The final thing that you can do with some of these hemp, the fiber and hurd things, are building materials. Here we have some building materials that we're are kind of the hempcrete or hemp insulation. We have particle board here that was created from hemp, and we even have some flooring that was made from hemp all the way through. And these are things that have just come around in the past few years from people investing into the R&D to turn this stalk into a very sustainable way to, progress our future. So the fact that hemp can grow so fast, you can get stalks so big and so much per acre, we can see that replacing trees. We don't have to cut down these trees that took 40 years to grow. We can replace it with this hemp that grows in 4 to 6 months. Hopefully this video helped you guys understand the difference between hemp and marijuana and all the confusing things that come into that. If you guys are interested in finding out more about your state or local laws, there's a link below to help you guys see how you can get involved, whether it's the medical or recreational THC or the industrial hemp fiber part of things. We want you guys to get involved, get interested, and reach out to us if you have any questions. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys found it informative. Like, subscribe, hit the bell so that you guys get notifications on our next videos, and thank you so much for watching.